Hello, Auto Worlders. I'm trying to catch up on my US branded diecast vehicles now that I'm here in the States. They don't even distribute this brand over in Asia, to my understanding. So, the very few I've reviewed, I've had to pay a lot of extra shipping costs. So, I'm going to try to snag what I can while I'm here. Today, what we have is the good old 1973 Ford Mustang Mach 1. And let's learn a little bit here. 1973 was the end of the first generation Mustangs. Primary focus, performance, power, oil crisis. Alright. Alright, 5 model options. That's not really telling me anything I want to know. At least we can see some other cars that they're putting out, Auto World, so that's nice. Alright. I did learn from the internet that the Mach 1 was an option package, and it was available between 1968 to 1978. And let's see, these things could have been powered by a multitude of engines between 5.8 to 7 liters, all V8s, I believe. Didn't get any power specs though. Only available in the sports roof fastback body style, and they added visual and performance enhancing items like the matte black hood, which I don't see on here, hood pins, competition suspension, chrome pop-up gas cap, revised wheels, chrome exhaust tips, deluxe interior, chin spoiler, rear deck spoiler, and window louvers, which are on this one. Alright, so maybe I'm hoping that what we're looking at is these images are an original factory one, but maybe Auto World's not fully getting that, because that's, well, this one doesn't have a black hood either. I wonder if Auto World actually tried to mimic this exact car. This model looks very much like it, right? Let us continue on, see what else we can find in this diecast here. So this green's interesting. I don't think I have a car like with this green. It's obviously metallic. The metal flakes are pretty small, they seem to me, but very, very metallic. I like it. I don't know, maybe some people will think those flakes are big, but I can't really focus on one flake. Alright, so, alright, you got the old school high profile tires, a little curvature to them, and the Goodyear is printed nicely. The wheels are those typical stamped steel wheels, and then we got some red, some little silver on the lug nuts, the black in there with those recesses. So I think they look good. The tires, they are treaded. They don't look like, moon buggy tires like some other brands might do. Ideally, they'd still not even show on the side. You don't see tread blocks on road-going cars from the side, really. Only trucks. Okay, that's going to happen with Auto World. This Mach 1 looks pretty good. Let me move this camera back here. The light's getting blocked by it. Alright, yeah, the little thinness of the perimeter stripes lets a little bit of the green show through, so that's fine printing. Tampo printing, no decal BS. Raised lock there, and the door handle are nice. Panel gaps seem okay to me. This little character stripe is actually protruding. It's pretty neat. And then the rear reflector is painted red. The front one's painted yellowish. And then what's going on with that? Oh, never mind. Just random paint flakes. Alright. Silver going around the window, and I think it's great that there's no side window, so now we can see the lime green interior pretty well. Nice casted in details, some round gauges, the radio stuff. Looks pretty good. I like it. The seats, yeah, they got some ribbing on the cushions. So it's a great interior. Alright, we do have a chin spoiler. It's not as big or at the right angle as the actual photographs. Probably for casting reasons, maybe. That's what I'm assuming. It should be at more of an angle. Unless maybe this is like a standard spoiler and you could have gotten a much bigger one as an option, maybe. I'm sure you Mustang aficionados can chime in for people like me and that don't know any better. We have a nice grill texture in here. Looks good. I think this whole front grill area is black plastic, so it's not painted, but it still looks fine. Wow, nice. A little prancing pony there and some red, white, and blue, so that's a pretty nice logo. I love this license plate. It's got actual Utah and all that stuff, so cool. Some printing in here. I don't know if this should be green or black. What do you guys think? I don't know if there's a vent down there. I can't tell. Little inner lights and front lights are painted white. The silver is nice here, but I don't think they hit it quite on the mark there, so that's unfortunate. I also see some green running over into this black area here. Oh well. A little black, and I don't know if I want to silver Sharpie that. I'll probably get it on the white headlight. Probably leave it alone. Okay, the hood. Well, I gotta say, that one's not too bad. I've seen worse from Auto World. I think SRT Challenger or Charger or something like that has a horrible panel gap, but this one's not so bad. Hood pin details, but no silver paint on them, so that's too bad. No black. Oh, there is black paint there, so my bad. That's nice. Nice detail. And the hood actually opens a lot, so that's good. You got some blue, some black. Oh, well, I gotta say, this is one of the better engines I've seen because you can actually pass air underneath that hose. I hate the engines where like this hose is extruded out like a silly putty thing, you know? That's what makes them look lame to me. But that's actually pretty good there. And again, there's some, you can get air underneath there. It's not painted very well. Anyways, I guess I can understand why people like that, but you know me, I'd rather just have that not there, that feature. Okay, this side, any issues? No. I do like how, you know, this fine printing goes around the turn signal like that, you know? Very well done. Nice. Okay, nice license plate again. Yeah, the green is a little different. Silver around the windshield looks nice. No wiper blades, though. I don't know if they're recessed under the front hood. Anyways, I don't care. I'm not missing them. Separate raw plastic wing seems okay. The struts aren't too wide, thinner than Hot Wheels at least. And then we have a nice black texture here. Maybe the fuel filter is under that. And then this text here, let me try to focus. I don't know if I can read that at all. I'm not feeling that one. There's some sort of text, but I don't know what it's supposed to say. Either Mach 1 or Mustang or something. Tail lamps, I guess they're printed on alright. That one's a little off. That one looks pretty good. Nice plate again. The exhaust tips there, they are round, so that's nice. I think they're part of the base. So, okay. Silver printing looks okay. A little key mechanism there. Alright. I'm zoomed in. I'm probably being a little unfair to Auto World, being so close on the zooming. My phone screen's so small, I have to zoom in a lot to actually see what I'm seeing. You guys, it's really easy for you to see it if you're working off of like a large monitor. But me, I'm just working off a mobile phone here, so that's why I do the things the way I do. Sadly, what I don't like about this brand is they stamp their bases, so modification's a pain, right? But at least we know who made it, and if you have a magnifying glass, where it's made. I've actually been there, Dongguan. But we don't know what car this is, so that's kind of silly, right? Why is it, if you're going to take the time to stamp something, why wouldn't you stamp what the vehicle is? Oh, what's nice though is a really specific date, March 4th, 2022. So that's cool, you know exactly how old it is. But in 10, 20 years, or if you just know nothing about cars like me, you'll just pick this up and be like, what is this? You don't know. You know, people that know nothing about cars wouldn't know what a Mach 1 was, or is. Alright, anyways, I gotta say, I think it's a flawless model. I didn't see any QC problems. Did you? Tiny printing problems, but nothing major. Let's get this thing on the spinner machine. I'll offset it a little, because I do have another Mustang now. Okay, I do have the Greenlight, is it? Yeah, it's a Greenlight 1967 Ford Mustang Eleanor. So that's the nice thing about Greenlight. They tell you what the vehicle is. Right? So many, I would say more than half the diecast brands don't care to tell you what you're holding in your hand. I find that really odd. I mean, if you think about everything else you buy, there's usually some sticker telling you what the model number is or what it is, right? I find it odd that a lot of brands just don't tell you what the vehicle is that they made. Alright, well, anyways, I think both of these are pretty nice Mustangs. I gotta say, that Greenlight's really nice because it has 6 plastic pieces for the lights. Unfortunately, AutoWorld doesn't really follow that methodology so much. They just like printing on these weird white headlights all the time. They could be so much better if they just went to plastic lights, right? Is there anyone in this world that likes white headlights more than a clear plastic headlight? Maybe people like that exist. I don't know, but I'm not one of them. All right, well, the Auto World train is starting to chug along. I do have a few others that will come out later on, and I think this is a great one. I really like the color, the execution. I feel like Auto World's quality is probably the best of the US brands. Granted, I don't collect many compared to other reviewers. Again, you want to probably check out like Diecast or Champion DJK. Those guys have a partnership where they share a lot of all the US branded vehicles. So anyways, that's my take on Auto World. They're better than Greenlight and M2 as far as QC. Although like this one, there was no QC problems. But Greenlight's pretty notorious for having pretty bad QC. So 1968, Mickey Thompson and Danny Ungais, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, they took 3 of these Mach 1s to Bonneville Salt Flats, and they set 295 speed and endurance records. 295 records. So that's pretty nuts, right? This is a picture that says it's from 1968. So this is a cool car, for sure, right? Okay, well, thanks for watching today.